Howdy, folks. I'm a sack of potatoes.
I'm Amber.
And here's some Reddit. Our first letter is titled, Am I a jerk for blowing up at my husband for lying to me about my sister and her baby leaving when he actually kicked her out? My sister, a 20-year-old female, got out of a terrible relationship and moved in with me and my husband and brought her 5-month-old son. She's dealing with a handful of issues from postpartum depression to depression. I asked my husband if he would be okay with her moving in, and he said absolutely. Not just this, but he was the one who picked her up and brought her home. She stayed for 2 weeks and helped around the house. My husband started complaining about the baby crying, but a newborn is expected to cry, especially at night. He said it causes him stress, although I suggested that he put on earbuds. He suddenly told me to just forget it, and so I did. Well, last week I had to go out to attend a friend's funeral without my husband. He said that he wanted to stay with my sister to make sure that she's okay. I returned home the next day and didn't find her or the baby. My husband said that she contacted a friend in another town and wanted to move in with them and left that morning. He handed me a letter he claimed was from her. This felt so odd, especially after reading the letter. I called her on the phone many times, but turned out my husband found it and said she must have left it behind. I was worried and I had no means of contacting her to make sure that she was okay. I contacted relatives, but they knew nothing. Yesterday, I got a call from an unknown number and it was her. We talked and she told me that she didn't leave on her own, but my husband kicked her out after telling her that she was no longer welcome and she needed to take responsibility for her decisions. I was in shock as she explained to me that she's not with a friend but at a shelter and has no money. I waited till he got home and blew up at him. He admitted that he had faked the letter and hid the phone and argued that it was his house and he had a say. But he shouldn't have lied to me about my sister and caused her to be homeless. He said that I was being unfair and wrong to lash out at him for wanting peace in his home. I don't think that's what she's lashing out at this guy for. I went upstairs and refused to argue anymore. I told him that I'm going to pick her up tomorrow and he said he's going to change the locks while I'm gone and I won't be allowed to bring her home. I'm thinking of going to a hotel, but he kept saying that I'm letting my sister affect our lives by prioritizing her, but there's a baby involved. My nephew and I can't leave him homeless. I get that it's his house too, but I don't see why he's so against her staying. Edit, he returned home and we started arguing again. I couldn't take it anymore and I'm going to stay in a hotel for tonight and I'm leaving in an hour or so. He wanted to talk again, but I'm incredibly overwhelmed and stressed out and need some time by myself. I don't care if he's going to change the locks or not. I'm working on meeting up with my sister as soon as possible so we can talk more openly about what happened and hopefully try to figure something out. All right. Well, what do you think?
I think that OP is not the jerk. It's one thing to decide after living with someone you don't want them to live in your house anymore.
Exactly.
But he never communicated this to OP. OP asked if she could stay. He's like, yeah, sure, I'll go pick her up. Then he was like, this baby crying is annoying me. And OP's like, oh, well, you could try earbuds. And he's like, just forget about it.
Yeah.
And then he concocts a elaborate scheme while OP is out at a funeral.
Yeah, this is just plain evil. It's really what this boils down to. Like, I don't have a problem saying that. Like, his premeditated plan here was just plain evil. He left her without any means of contacting anyone. Like, no family, no friends, nothing. He just left her on her own with no money and just kicked her to the streets.
Yeah, and then he writes this, like, fake letter.
Yeah, on top of that, the fake letter.
Everything about this is, like, he handled this in the completely wrong way.
Yeah, well, instead of being an adult and sitting down and talking with the parties involved, he just made a unilateral decision to kick her to the street.
Kicking anyone out with no resources is bad.
Yeah.
But, like, especially, like, you're just gonna throw out this lady and her infant to, like, fend for themselves.
Yeah, and I mean, that was completely uncalled for and unreasonable. And OP, this is not a good sign. This is a huge red flag. Do not have children with this man. And if I may say so, if he was able to concoct this elaborate ruse, then there's no telling what he'll do in the future.
Yeah, like this, I would seriously question this relationship in general, but certainly where he's like, I just want peace in my home, like, don't have kids with him, or he'll probably change the locks on you.
Yeah.
Well, and also, like, how he's like, you're letting your sister affect our lives by prioritizing her, and it's like, no, she's just trying to make sure that her sister and nephew aren't homeless while letting things affect your life.
Exactly.
Our next story is, am I the jerk for asking my wife to dress up, not down? My wife and I have been married for 6 years now. My wife, Grace, is beautiful. She's a very girly girl, liking things like pink, flowers, purses, and heels. Before the pandemic, Grace would always dress for a runway. She would have on makeup, heels, dresses, perfume, smooth skin, etc. During the pandemic, though, my wife's job got moved to at home. She stopped her beauty routine and spent most of the days in long t-shirts, shorts, sweatpants, or her pajamas. I understood it since we weren't really going anywhere. Grace also stopped wearing makeup, doing her hair, and shaving. While this bothered me because I like having a beautiful wife, I figured it was till her job got moved back to the office. Now things are open again. My job has been moved to the office, but Grace told me she didn't want to return and opted to keep working from home. Her wardrobe has completely changed in the 2 years of the pandemic. She hardly wears her dresses, cute shirts, skirts, makeup, or anything like before. It's men's t-shirts with sayings on them like "I'm grumpy," jeans, sweatpants, and tennis shoes, and she has completely stopped shaving and waxing. Now she'll dress up a bit if we go out or if we have company, but that's it. Grace tells me it's too much work. So now for the part where I may be a jerk. Before the pandemic, went on a date night. Since we haven't in a while, I suggested a night out at an expensive restaurant. I did pick this restaurant on purpose. Grace said no and suggested we order takeout. When I refused, she suggested a restaurant like IHOP or Chili's. Her excuse? She didn't feel like shaving her legs for one of her dresses and wanted to be comfortable. I snapped, saying it wouldn't hurt you to dress up for once. She accused me of only liking her looks. This isn't true. I told her I was just tired of feeling like I'm living with a homeless woman. Grace ended up locking herself in our bedroom. I know my words were harsh. I ordered a pizza and tried to apologize, but Grace wouldn't open the door. I slept on the couch. Right now, Grace is still giving me the cold shoulder, refusing to speak to me or be in the same room as me. I know I hurt her feelings with my words. However, I think this is depression or isolation from the pandemic, since before, Grace had no problem looking like a model. Am I the jerk?
So, what do you think of that one?
I think he's a jerk.
I think that really depends on his motivations here. I do agree that he's a jerk for a lot of things in this letter, but it also sounds like he might actually be concerned about her mental health and her well-being in general, because she has stopped taking interest in things that she used to find interesting before.
Yeah, from the way the letter is phrased, I'm guessing that is not the case, and that's maybe just like an afterthought or some like justification.
Yeah.
Because it's like, she used to look like a model, she used to look like a model, and now and then at the very end he's like, but maybe it's depression.
Yeah, I mean, I just see it like an afterthought more than anything with that addendum there, but I think that there still may be some kind of thing here, because if he hadn't thought of it at all, then I don't think he would have mentioned it. But I do agree that this does come across as kind of condescending, and especially with like his, well, she looks like a homeless person, right? And I think that was completely in poor taste and not a good thing to say at all.
Right. Well, it's just like, first of all, it's no one's fault if they're homeless and don't have access to hygiene and makeup and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
But also, it's like saying that women in our natural state are like unsightly, like there's something wrong with not wearing makeup. Like, it's not like we pop out of the womb with makeup and our hair done.
What is he doing to dress up for her? Is he doing anything, going out of his way to dress up and look nice, or is he just dressing in long t-shirts, just general around the house clothes?
Well, and there's such double standards for like going out to like nice social events. Like, guys just generally throw on suits. You don't have to do a full face of makeup. You don't have to do your hair. Whereas women, you're expected to, do your hair, do your makeup, shave your legs, all that jazz. And like, it's way more time and effort than just throwing on a suit.
So I agree. In general, I think that he sounds like he's more concerned about her looks than her mental well-being. But if he is actually concerned about her mental well-being, then this was really the worst way of going about it.
Well, and if you're ever concerned that someone is depressed, do not say, just go dress up. Like, that's not going to address the issue.
Exactly. It will do nothing for the underlying issue. All right, folks, it is tea time. We've got a couple of teas here.
Yes, mine is super mysterious.
Is it?
It's mint. You know what's out of that coming.
So I actually have a question for anyone. You notice there are a couple of icons over here. Which do you think looks better, the one with the blue or just the one with a white background? I made both of these, and I was trying to figure out whether I like the blue one or the white one better, and I just don't know. And Amber likes the white one better. I have a lot of mixed feelings about it. So yeah, I just took some time to make something like this because I was like, yeah, I mean, it would be good to actually have a logo and not just me, a picture of me, from a decade ago. So let me know what you think. Do you want to read a joke?
Absolutely. If 8 watches were stolen from a jewelry, what criminal would the police look for?
I don't know what.
An octopus who is never late.
Oh my goodness, that's terrible. That's terrible. I love it. I have Mega Mint as well. All right, our next letter is titled, Am I a jerk for leaving a family party and telling bro and future sister-in-law to not come to my house or work anymore? And there are a couple of updates, so we'll move past them for now and read them back later. Throwaway account. My brother Jerry is a 21-year-old male and I'm a 26-year-old female, and we were close for most of our lives. We're 2 of 9 adult children in a very dysfunctional family. Jerry got recently engaged to Jessica, a 20-year-old female. I tried to be welcoming since she started dating my brother, but she really hasn't reciprocated. Once COVID restrictions were lifted, I hosted a getting to know you party to introduce the women into the 2 families. I've also taken her family to lunch and dinner several times, and co-hosted a wedding shower for our extended family. I've been careful not to give my opinions on the wedding, and have tried to be supportive as Jerry and my parents are causing drama. Well, 2 weeks ago, Jerry called me to say that they were inviting all of our other siblings to be in their wedding party, but they're not inviting me. And he didn't say why. I told him that I wouldn't be making a fuss and it was their wedding and they can do as they choose. This weekend, Jessica texted me at last minute to attend an invitation addressing party and to bring a dessert. I was upset at the request as it was last minute invitation to a pre-planned event and they'd already excluded me from their wedding party, but I decided to make cupcakes and stop by briefly. When I arrived, Jessica handed me a stack of announcements and a gift registry for the people who aren't invited to the wedding. She also gave me a list of names and addresses of these people. Lo and behold, my name is on the list of non-wedding invitees. I found the list of wedding invitees and my name isn't on it, so I know I'm truly not invited.
Wait, so they're sending wedding like wedding registry stuff to people who are not invited to the wedding? Like, we're getting married. Here's the registry. You
Make
don't
sure
get
to
to
send
come.
us gifts. Here's why I might be the jerk. After realizing that I'm not invited to the wedding, I took my cupcakes and left the invitation addressing party. I didn't make a scene, but I didn't tell Jessica or her mom, who was hosting, that I was leaving. Jerry texted me about how rude I was to leave when his fiancée needed help, and I said I was selfish, spoiled, and cheap. I replied that it was an awful thing for them to demand my help for an event to which I'm not even invited, and that I wasn't going to be involved in any drama. Jerry and Jessica went to my apartment yesterday while I was gone. They banged on the door and yelled in the windows, so my next door neighbors, who don't know him, called 911. Jerry and Jessica managed to talk their way out of trouble, but texted me angrily. I told them that they caused a disturbance in my building and not to come over again. Well, they came to my work today, told the receptionist that we had a family emergency, and made her pull me out of a meeting. Once it was clear that there was no one dead or injured, I told them to leave and not to come to my work again. My entire family thinks that I'm the jerk. I think the bride and groom can determine who they want to invite to their wedding and bridal party, but they can't demand unpaid time, labor, and hosting from non-invitees. Update 1. For those who have asked, I was not invited to be a bridesmaid because all the other women in their 20s in the wedding party are married, and I'm not. Jerry's exact words when he texted me this weekend. So 2 weeks after he originally told me that I would be the weird one out. According to Jerry, I was left off the wedding invitation list deliberately, primarily because Jessica felt that I disrespected her by being cheap. Again, Jerry's words, and having a party for her family at my apartment instead of an upscale venue. How cheap. And I'm a broke student. Jerry and Jessica went to my apartment and demanded an apology for leaving the invitation addressing party without saying goodbye to anyone, and for saying that they were awful for demanding free labor. They banged on my door and windows because they were sure that I was home, and I wasn't. They went to my work to demand the above apology, plus an apology for telling them not to go to my home again, and also for my neighbors calling 911 when they thought I could be in danger. Update 2. One of my sister-in-laws gave me more details about why she thought I was a jerk. Turns out Jerry told our brothers and sister-in-law some very different things than what he told me. I sent her screenshots of the text that Jerry and I exchanged over the weekend and the past few days. Now she and her husband, my oldest brother, are furious at Jerry. What we have here is a family of bad communicators, including me, and at least one person, Jerry, and possibly also Jessica, who is manipulating and making stuff up. Alright, well, that was a long one.
Yeah, I'm gonna say OP is 100% not the jerk here.
Oh, I don't even know how OP could possibly be in the realm of jerkhood here.
Yeah, like, so they decide not to let OP be in the wedding party because she's not married.
Yeah.
Then they decide to uninvite her completely because she didn't host
a fancy
enough party.
Yeah, I mean, that's just so weird. Like, to find a reason to uninvite someone like this, this just sounds like a fabricated reason more than anything. It just sounds like Jessica just doesn't like her.
And then to invite someone who is not even invited to your wedding to an address inviting party and are like, I mean, who sends registry lists to people who aren't invited to their wedding? Like,
I guess they do.
This whole thing sounds like they're using their wedding as like a cash grab type of deal, and then goes to OP's home to demand an apology when she's done nothing wrong.
Yeah.
Because and then goes to her work and has her pulled out of an important work meeting.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
Yeah, I think it's really odd how they are handling the situation. Not OP, but Jerry and Jessica. I think that this is really poor form for them, and I don't think that they are showing themselves in the best possible light here.
Yeah, they're not showing themselves in a good light at all.
OP is probably dodging a bullet because it sounds like there's probably going to be a lot of drama at that wedding.
Yeah.
They're very petty people, it sounds like.
It does. And so, yeah, you probably are better off not going to this wedding if this is how they act about things.
Yeah.
Our next story is, am I the jerk for yelling at my husband over the gift he sent to me at work? My husband was away for 2 weeks. The day before he was scheduled to come back, he sent me a gift which was addressed to me at my office. He made it seem like it was something harmless like chocolates or perfume and kept telling me to open it. I did open it and it turned out to be lingerie. It was embarrassing because some of my coworkers saw it and made jokes about it. When my husband got home, I was still really upset he would send me that at work. I immediately asked him why he had, and he just laughed it off and said he wanted to make sure I got it.
Oh my goodness.
We had a fight because he was acting like it wasn't a big deal and I should be happy to see him instead of getting upset over a gift. I did yell at him at one point, and he told me he wasn't going to give me my other gift because I yelled at him and was acting ungrateful.
Oh,
am I the
my
jerk?
Goodness. What is wrong with him?
Yeah, I'm going to say OP is not the jerk here.
Well, one, lingerie is usually a gift. I mean, women do enjoy lingerie, but it's usually like kind of a mutual gift. It isn't necessarily like a gift you get a woman for just themselves, right?
Right. There's usually an assumption that this is also for the husband.
Yeah.
You know.
Chocolates or flowers or something like that are a good work gift. You can get someone that, but you want to avoid giving someone a gift at work that is going to cause them embarrassment if it's seen.
Right, like lingerie is something that's usually done in private. Like people do have lingerie parties sometimes, but like that's with like a small group of people who have explicitly been invited.
Yeah.
For that purpose. Usually it's a no-no to give someone lingerie in front of their coworkers or family or something like that.
It is a no-no.
Because it is a very private, intimate gift. And it also kind of devalues her work. Like he doesn't see her as a professional.
Oh, for sure. Yeah. I mean, I think you bring up a really good point. It does devalue her work.
And there's nothing wrong with people having lingerie or liking lingerie, but it's usually like in most work environments, that's not going to be something you want. And so I think he is completely in the wrong here.
Exactly. All right, folks, that's all the time we have for today. Thanks so much for watching this video. If you enjoyed it, consider giving it a like. And if you disliked it, consider giving a dislike. Thanks so much to Amber for joining me today.
Thank you for having me.
Happy Friday, Junior.
Happy Friday, Junior.
Thanks so much for watching, and we'll see you all tomorrow.
Bye.